Interstate Studio has been in business for 90 years. We provide photography services and yearbooks for elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools across the country. Our mission statement is to share the power of a smile.
Each one of our photographers will take about 250 or so subjects' photos every day. On any given day, we have between 500 and 700 photographers out in the field. People, when they buy our product, they want to see their children. They don't want to see extra background or foreground, and we certainly don't want to cut anyone off. And so it's very important to give the photographer a very easy way to see where the edge of the photo will be so that we can fill the frame with people. The custom grid line function in the Sony now gives us something that is a big improvement upon what we've used for a long time.
We wanted a modern camera, and no one would listen but Sony. And so they came through, created our grid line, essentially exactly what we used before.
With the new Sony grid lines and having the ability to change to different grid lines if needed, or even change the colors of the grid lines, it has honestly made it a much easier task to train photographers.
We only have a very limited amount of time with each child. And so I want the photographer to spend as little time as possible with the equipment. So the ability to see these grid lines both through the viewfinder and on the electronic LCD panel on the back, both while you're photographing and afterwards, makes that function very quick and intuitive.
We want a consistent product for all of our customers. And without that grid line, you literally, with a green screen, could be cutting off shoulders or heads and not really know it.
Our photographers, for example, during the day they may be photographing school pictures, and then in this same school setting, at the end of the school day, they may switch to sports photography or large group photos. And so we could change the grid lines for each of those types of events. In the past, we would have needed to have two separate cameras because the grid lines were sort of hardwired to the camera.
It keeps our head sizes consistent across all of our portrait work, but for our sports and groups, it lets us know where the edge of the print will be, so we're not cutting off shoulders or legs. The grid line simplicity and how it's flexible and how we can turn it on and off and how we can change it allows us to just focus on one camera system, which is easier to train, simpler for them to use, and it allows you to trust that the autofocus is going to be there and that you can just focus on that student who's in front of you. That process frees us from, being trapped behind the camera versus face to face with a subject.
Our photographers do that every day by bringing their face out from beside the camera to look at a person eye to eye and make a connection.
That's how we get the kind of smile that mom and dad want to see.